Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update on Wednesday the 13th of March. Let's start in Asia this morning again with Seng that tried to close above the key resistance at 17,135, but again failed to do so. So a little bit of a setback could be expected, but we are in a bullish trend with higher highs and higher lows, and we also have a positive sentiment on the RSI. In US, we saw a market moving higher yesterday, but it did close higher, or as we could say, highest close, but it didn't take out the peak from Friday, which is really crucial here. It's really important. It didn't take out that peak, so the bearish engulfing top and reversal pattern is still intact. So keep an eye on that. We need to close above 5,189 and a change, so 5,190 I would say, just to make sure. Then it will be busted and we could move higher. Still very stressed. The same picture on a Nasdaq 100. No new higher close and not even close to take out the bearish engulfing and demolish that. So we are still in a forming a top and reversal pattern, but I would like to see it confirmed by a move below 17,800. On the European side, the picture is a little bit different. Well, we actually did see EUROSTOXX 50 yesterday moving higher, closing higher, and has demolished. I wouldn't say demolished because it was not really a top reversal pattern, but we're still above this rising trend line, and that's what you should keep an eye on. So for now, still in an uptrend, despite being stretched. Trend is your friend, and stick with it until it starts to change. DAX also still above 17,620. That is the key level on the short term that you keep an eye on. Moving higher here, we could move higher. We are very close to, we had actually just pierced above 18,000 just here a few minutes ago. Also quite stretched, so it is a little bit fragile, but it's still an uptrend. Amsterdam index still forming this rising channel, or you could say rising wedge. It's more like a channel really, because it should be two converging lines. Still in a bullish trend, but you see massive divergence, imbalance. The strength is not really supporting this uptrend. If we see a move higher and followed by RSI closing above its falling trend line here, then we could see it moving higher. That would be an indication we like to see higher Amsterdam index levels. CAC also higher, actually challenging its divergence, RSI divergence, and it looks fairly strong. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly chart. Yeah, it reached 161.8 projection of this correction here, and there is potential higher. There's no divergence on the weekly. I can remove those. We are actually in a very strong mood on the weekly on CAC 40. The Swiss market also higher, taking out 11,730. No divergence on the RSI, looks very strong. We are stalling a little bit on the daily, so let's see. We could see a little bit of a setback before moving higher. So the Swiss market looks fairly strong at the moment, potentially 12,000, not in the coming days, but maybe in a couple of weeks' time or over the summer. Let's see. Sometimes it's hard to put a time factor on it, but a very strong Swiss market. Euro dollar stepping sideways. As we mentioned, as we talked about yesterday, 109 could be tested, and we were just a few pips from it. Could still try to dip it a little bit low, but I don't think so. I think we will slowly start resuming uptrend again here towards 110. What is dragging it down a little bit is the 55 moving average that is dragging. It's declining, but the other ones are moving higher. Now you can see actually you had the 21 moving crossing over 200 and very close to crossing over 100, probably happening tomorrow, and they are all rising, so we have a nice gold cross here. The only little caveat here is that the 55 is declining, so a little bit not a slam dunk, but I think we will move higher. It is a positive undertone and sentiment all around. So cable dip below 127.75, but closed above, testing it this morning again. We could see another go or another test lower, but we are in an uptrend, and we should move higher towards 129.45, 130 in coming weeks. Dollar yen bounced off this area around the 786 retracement. Excuse me. Just above the 200 moving average. If we can get a close above 148.15, spiked just a few cents above yesterday, or pips above, then we could see it resuming uptrend. Still negative sentiment, but we should see a bounce higher. However, we have the 100 moving average and declining, and the 55 rising. So there's a little bit of tug of war between medium and the medium term trend moving averages. Euro yen bounced nicely from the 61.8 retracement, very close to breaking back bullish, and I think it will resume uptrend if we get the RSI above the falling trend line here, and it is pushing above 161.55. Well, I think we will see a move up to 162.38 and possibly up to 162.97. Will we get a new high? Well, according to RSI, we should have a new high, but there's room for it. But it remains to be seen if we can get it. But I think we'll get up to around the 163 level. Aussie yen also bouncing off its 61.8 retracement, a break above 98.20 right here. Then we will have Aussie yen also back in uptrend, and as you can see here, RSI is still in positive sentiment, indicating we should see higher levels. Just jumped a little bit too fast there. We have sterling yen bouncing from the key support at 167. Still in a negative sentiment though. Could have another go, could be stronger a little bit, but I think we could see a move up to 169.30 where we have some strong resistance. We could be caught range bound here for quite some time between those levels. Just a quick look at Swiss yen. We haven't done that much often. Oh, it didn't update. Sorry about that. That was the Swiss yen we talked about there. I don't know what happened. It didn't update. 187 on the sterling yen right there. 187.86 on the sterling yen. That is really crucial to keep that on. I think we were bouncing from it. RSI in a positive sentiment. If it breaks back above the upper falling trend line there, then I think we'll see it moving higher. Finally, we can have a look at dollar Swiss this morning. Still range bound, still keeping above the 87.40 support and the 100 moving average. Still locking in between here, not really other than range trading. You need a breakout from these levels. Moving on to metals, and a lot of action is going on there. We have a correction in gold spot unfolding. We have a top formation here, a top pattern, a doji evening pattern, and we could see a test of the 21.34, possibly dipping down to 21.15, which is the 38.2 retracement of this bullish move up here. We're still in a positive sentiment. There's no divergence. We should see gold moving higher after a correction, but expect a correction down in this area there. On the silver front, it was rejected as 24.60. Could test the upper part of a cloud at 24, just below here. But I also think we will see a move higher in silver after a correction. Let's see how, if we add the RSI, could dip down to 23.76, which is 38.2 retracements. Looking at platinum, we haven't looked at it for a while, but it's also building an uptrend. We have a little bit, you can argue this is a double bottom. It's not really the perfect one, but we have taken out these peak or highs over here, so meaning that we are now in an uptrend scenario. We have positive sentiment on the RSI. We could see platinum moving higher. If we can get it back above 950 and back above the cloud area, well, then there's potential up to 1,100. Palladium tested the neckline support here just above 1,000, bouncing off it, and I think we will see palladium moving higher towards 1100, possibly up to 1160, 65, 70 possibly area in the coming weeks. Copper pushing higher towards 400, and I think we need to have a look at the weekly chart. You can see here really testing the resistance at 397.40 close above, and there's a potential higher to 419, 420 level. We are in an uptrend on daily. We are in an uptrend if we can close above here, also on the weekly, and if we can get the RSI to close above 60 on the weekly, well then there's also a really strong potential and a strong uptrend towards 420 on the short to medium term. Really not much to say about the oil market. Crude oil, both contracts, WTI and Brent, they are moving sideways in a tighter range. So it really needs to break this range trading behavior before we see any meaningful direction. Just very quickly on Henry Hub, we talked about it so many times, and it has now confirmed downtrend. It was mentioned late last week that it was likely the scenario to play out. We can add a little bit of see here Fibonacci. We add that actually at the 61.8 at the 1.70. I think we will move lower, and we could see a lower low on Henry Hub, but at least it will try to push for the previous low. Finally, on the US 10-year yield, Treasury yields, bounced off just above 4%. It didn't reach all the way down to 61.8 because we also have the 55 moving average kind of lifting, giving some lifting here. But then we have the 100 coming down. We have the 200 almost flat, slightly rising. I think we could see US Treasury yields trading or moving around the 420, 415, 420, and maybe up to a little bit around 425. But in this range for quite some time without any clear direction. However, the RSI is in positive sentiment, so there is a little bit of how you say, underlying positive tone to it, but the 100 moving average is putting a lid on it. All right, that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening despite the little hiccup with the Swiss yen and the sterling yen. I hope you can see through that. Have a nice day and happy trading.